Hello, fellow YouTubers. LegoBWC Stop Motioner here. Welcome to viewers new and old. And today I'm taking a look at Transformers Rise of the Beast Mainline Deluxe Mirage. And this figure has actually been pre-painted. Unfortunately, the paint hasn't held up too well. It's pretty banged up. I've seen where primer, you can spray the figures with primer. That's a good way to keep the paint on them. Not entirely sure if that will work with this type of figure, but I don't know. If you have any idea, if you have like experience of customizing Transformers, please let me know. So I'd like to be able to find a way to make sure this paint stays on here. But yeah, basically, I wanted a Mirage, of course, from my Rise of the Beast collection. And I wanted a good one because, in my opinion, he was the best character in that movie. And, well, people haven't really seemed too happy with the Studio Series one. And I noticed the mainline one looked like it had a better physique. The only problem was the paint on him was not very good because he didn't have a ton of paint. But I was scrolling through eBay one day and yeah, I saw someone selling a pre-customized mainline Mirage. So I knew I had to get it. And as I said, while the paint hasn't held up super well, I'm glad I did and opted out of getting the Studio Series one. Even though the Studio Series one, from what I've seen, definitely does win in car mode. But hey, this looks fine for being not quite a Porsche, but close enough. It's pretty nice sculpted details. The taillights are painted. Some translucent windows. And there's the Autobot symbol there on the front. Peg on wheels, unfortunately, but for this being a mainline figure, I can forgive it a little bit more easily. Like, it bothers me like you would not believe on Studio Series figures, but on a mainline figure, it doesn't bother me that much. This guy's pretty good for just being a mainline figure. Can roll pretty well. Now his weapon storage, here's the gun right here. You just stick it on the back there. And that's one of the few times I'll be doing that because that's just whatever as far as weapon storage goes. But yeah, overall, pretty nice looking, not Porsche mode. So just for fun, I thought I'd compare him with the Siege Mirage. Yeah, there's how those two look. And then here he is with the Studio Series Bumblebee and RC. I'm looking forward to when I can get the Rise of the Beast Optimus and hopefully that Wheeljack soon. And then they'll hopefully do Stratosphere one day, and that'd pretty much be all the Autobots from Rise of the Beast. So that's cool. Overall, though, I think that pretty much covers it for the vehicle mode. Again, it's not a licensed Porsche, but it looks really nice regardless. So now we can move on to the transformation. And again, for being a mainline figure, this transformation is pretty cool. Mostly. So basically what you do first is you just kind of pull this forward so you can lift that up. And then disconnect this in the front. My only complaint is that this part requires a fair bit of force. I haven't really quite figured out another way to do that. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, but otherwise I like the transformation. Just going to fold this down, push this in, and kind of push these down as you're folding that in. Then they'll tab into place. Go ahead and pull this out. Go ahead and rotate him at the waist, split the legs, go ahead and fold this down. Go ahead and grab this, untab it, pull it out, fold this section down, go ahead and turn this in. And then there's a tab right here underneath the wheel, and there's kind of a slot right there. So just kind of sits on there, but it gets the job done. Do the same on this side. Pull that in, pull that up and tap it in. Then this Just kind of hooks on that tab there. Rotate this down. Hold this up. Rotate. Fold the wrist down. Do the same on this side. And there you have Mirage in his robot mode. And this is where the custom paintwork really shines. First off, I'm going to take a look at the head sculpt. That's not based on the finalized look for him, but there are like third-party and 3D printed alternate heads I can get for him that look more like the final look. So I'll probably get one of those one of these days. Let's say hopefully, because I have a hard time committing to getting the like unofficial third-party stuff. But yeah. But at least this head sculpt has been painted. It's got some blue on it, which looks really nice. And then this torso section, this looks really good. He just looks a lot less bulky than the Studio Series one, and I really like that. Because he was a very slender character in the movie. Now really the main inaccuracy, aside from the concept head, is that the wheels are on the shoulders when they really should be on his back, but it doesn't bother me too much. Got some really nice paint on the arms and on the legs. It's just a shame that this figure was a mainline figure and thus didn't really get a ton of budget for paint apps, because he's got really nice sculpted details, but they hardly get a chance to shine on the original figure because there's hardly any paint on that thing. But I'm glad the customizers are giving all the details on this figure a chance to shine. He's got this gun here, which has some blue added to it. Just going to stick it in his hand here. So yeah, he looks really nice. Then here he is once again with the Siege Mirage. And then here he is once again with the Studio Series Bumblebee and RC. And I can't really say for sure if this is size accurate, because we know based on one scene that Mirage is capable of changing his size. So yeah, I don't know. His articulation is also pretty good. He has a ball joint on the head, can look up a little bit, not really ton it down. Can look right and left, a little bit of side to side. Shoulders can do a full 360. And thanks to the transformation, they get a little bit more upward and downward movement. Of course, you have a ball joint on the shoulder right there. You have a bicep rotation, an elbow bend, which goes just a smidge over 90. Because of transformation, the wrist can move in, but I don't really see that being too crucial. And thanks to the transformation, he has a waist swivel, which is definitely appreciated. Legs can go forward that far. They can go back about that far. They can go out to the side. You have thigh rotation and a knee bend. So it's nothing amazing, but it's pretty effective articulation, and I feel like you can get him into a lot of cool poses. And yes, he does have a backpack, but I prefer that over him just wearing the car just all throughout his robot mode and hindering the articulation. Because it's really not that big of a backpack, and for being as complex of a design as this is, I'm okay with that. So let's see. I covered the vehicle mode, the transformation, the robot mode, articulation, comparison for both modes. I think that pretty much does it for this figure. So I'll go ahead and stick him on the display. Okay, so there's the mainline Mirage with my rebooted movie shelf. And he's now the third, I don't know, does that count as two figures? I mean, it's the second like mainline figure on the shelf. And I'm pleasantly surprised that a mainline figure is going to be my definitive version of him, because I mentioned before going into Rise of the Beast, I was like not interested in a mainline because of the Bumblebee movie. The mainline for that, to me, just looked like garbage. But Rise of the Beast Mainline actually put out a pretty good figure. And I really think when this figure is customized, it looks better than the Studio Series one. I mean, he looks good in vehicle mode. Pretty fun transformation. And a good looking robot mode with some decent articulation. So overall, I do recommend you get this figure. The only problem is that not everyone is going to get the chance to stumble on one that's pre-customized, but I mean, if you're a customizer, then that shouldn't be a problem. If you do want to get this figure, he's usually in the 40s to 50s. He's a little pricey, but that's mainly because he didn't get a single release here in the US. But if you can get him for a decent price, and if you are able to get one pre-customized, I definitely recommend it. He's a really nice figure. Of course, that's just what I think of the figure. As always, please be sure to let me know in the comments what you think of the figure. And if you like this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and God bless.